So world number 1 versus world number 2, World Cup champions versus the Six Nations champions, Ireland travelling to South Africa for a summer series. What isn't there to like? I guess what there isn't to like are the injuries for Ireland. That doesn't help. Plus Leinster didn't finish their season the way they'd have liked. But anyway, let's get into this squad and also talk about a very possible side that could well face South Africa in that first test. Good news for Ulster, Nick Timoney, he's in, the back rower. Cormac Isachukwu is a debutant, looks like he's in mainly as a second row, but he can play back row, similar to Ryan Baird. And we see a return for Jacob Stockdale. Not quite sure how much game time he'll get, but good for him that he's back in. It's been a long time. But the injuries, first of all, Jamison Gibson-Park, clearly the starting 9 and by far their best 9, one of the best in the world. He is out, ruled out of the series. That is an absolute devastating blow. He'd been in good form. So yeah, that is really, really tough. Plus we also have an injury to Jack Conan, who has been coming off the bench for Ireland recently, but he's so good at it. And I thought that maybe Ireland would go for a 6-2 split on the bench. They still may, but Conan would have been the perfect guy to bring off the bench with Baird. They can't do it. If they were to go 6-2, they'd have to play someone with some less experience, if you like Prendergast. We've got some other guys in. Sam Prendergast is in at fly half. And that's massive because both Burn boys are out. Maybe the penny has dropped for Farrell. Maybe he thinks, the Burn guys, they are good, but are they going to take me all the way to win a World Cup, say? Let's go with the young talent. Prendergast is in. I think he'll be third choice behind Crowley and Frawley. We'll see how much game time he gets, but great experience for him. So that's a massive call. Both of the Burns out. So with no Gibson-Park, we see Caelan Blade come back in. He's had a few caps already, but I'm pretty sure he'll be third choice behind the veteran Murray and Craig Casey, the 2 Munster men. And then also Mac Hansen hasn't recovered from injury. So we see Nash in, who I thought did really well in the Six Nations. O'Brien's in there as a 15, although he's a utility. Stockdale, like I said, has made a return. So they've benefited from Hansen not being in. And that's a big blow that he hasn't recovered. Peter O'Mahony, he's still in. He is still the captain, so he's going to start. And this sort of series against South Africa suits him down to the ground. He keeps on going. The veterans are still there. Cian Healy's still there. We've got Ollie Jaeger coming in to that loose head, probably the third choice loose head there. Herring has returned as well. Interesting in the centres. Have a look there. We've got 5 centres as I see it. They didn't have to take Osborne, but his form's been pretty good for Leinster. Very versatile. We've got 2 big centres there in Aki and McCloskey. Very interesting. You don't often see 5 centres, but that is what Andy Farrell has gone for. We do have Cian Prendergast as well in the back row, so that means both Prendergast brothers are together. That's pretty cool to tour with Ireland with your brother. That must be amazing. The recovery of Gary Ringrose, he's got into form at the end of this season, so that's brilliant news. I'd be amazed if he didn't start at 13. He is a world-class player at his best. So what is Andy Farrell going to do to face South Africa? I think it's going to look a bit like this. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Front row, Porter, Sheehan, Furlong is first choice, although they haven't finished the Leinster season that well, under pressure at scrum time sometimes. Sheehan has just fallen off a little bit from that very high level he was at. Byrne, I think, will continue with McCarthy, with James Ryan on the bench. That's a very solid second row combination there. Can McCarthy throw his weight around against the South Africans? Another big man test there for McCarthy. Back row, well, of course, Peter O'Mahony is the captain, so he's going to start. Van der Fleer, I think, will start at 7, even though they used him off the bench in that Champions Cup. Didn't quite work, but anyway, I think he's going to start for Ireland. Doris definitely at 8. We don't see Conan, of course, so no pressure on Doris at 8. Of the 9s, well, maybe Farrell would go with the veteran of Murray, but I think he'll go with the way they do it at Munster, with Casey starting and then Murray to come off the bench. 10's going to be Jack Crowley. He looked really good in the Six Nations. He's got that physical edge as well. He's got a great running game, so it's going to be big for him, but very, very exciting. I don't think you need to take a 10 on the bench because I think Frawley's going to play 15. You could have O'Brien, who's very, very talented, but I think Frawley is maybe the more solid option there. Great kicking game as well. In the centres, Aki, Ringrose, I think it's going to be back to them. Henshaw's been playing very well, but he's a good bench spot as well. So those 3, once again. Lowe's maintained his form very well for Leinster as well, so he's going to stay in on one wing. Who's on the other wing? Is it going to be Lama? But for me, I think it's Nash. He was so good in the Six Nations, very impressed with his physicality, his explosion, a little bit more physical than Lama, I think. Now, important for Ireland, they've got a very experienced three on the bench for the front row. Kelleher, Healy and Bealham can come on together. Of course, you've got that bomb squad threat from South Africa, but they're as strong as they could be there. So what do you think of the squad? Let me know down below. Do you think the team to face South Africa is going to be close to this one? If you like these sorts of videos, please do subscribe, like the video, that would be awesome, and I'll catch you next time.